In today's video, did Bitcoin really break the support of the upwards channel that we were in? And is Bitcoin going towards the 9100 levels to fill the CME futures gap? And guys, I want to have a talk about Ethereum as well, because the Ethereum network usage is at an all-time high and the total fees is surpassing the price of Ethereum. And I want as well to have a look at the Ethereum chart and talk about why I think Ethereum is actually looking quite bullish. So okay guys, all about that in today's video. With that being said, my name is Jeroen. This is the Blockchain Today, the channel where you subscribe for daily crypto videos. And right now let's jump into the content. But guys, before we are jumping into the charts, is it possible that we are reaching 150 likes on today's video? That would be awesome. Hello guys and welcome in today's video. Thanks for tuning back into the Blockchain Today, and let's start off with having a look at Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Well, as we can see on the daily time frame, Bitcoin was trading in this upwards channel right here, in this uptrend after we had this huge drop. However, it looks like Bitcoin broke the support of the uptrend, but there's one thing that really does concern me, and that there isn't an increase in volume. If we have a look at the volume, then we still have a decline in volume right there, and that means that Bitcoin is actually still preparing for a breakout, to break out of a certain price range and to enter a new price range, enter a new market structure. So simply said guys, I don't think we really have broken the support of this uptrend yet decisively, because we don't get a confirmation in the volume. And of course we are not always getting a confirmation in the volume, but volume is actually one of the most important aspects to check the confidence behind a certain price move. And the support right now is at approximately 8,800. And yeah, the biggest support below that is the 200-day moving average, this green line right here, which is right now aligning at approximately 8,050. And if we have a look at the 4-hour time frame, then we can see on the 4-hour we are definitely in a downtrend. Bitcoin is making lower highs and is making lower lows. And on the way down in this downtrend, Bitcoin is forming actually quite some tradable patterns, right? We had a rising wedge pattern right here. Eventually we broke to the downside. We met the target of the rising wedge as well. And right now we could be trading in something similar, a rising wedge pattern, and eventually break the support to the downside and come back towards the target of the rising wedge right here, which would be at approximately 8,630. But one interesting thing in the Bitcoin price right now is that we still have a CME futures gap above us, which is opening approximately at this support and resistance line, right? And this was the former support, and it's going to be interesting to see whether Bitcoin is going to test that level. Because if we are going to test the former support and it is turning into resistance, then that is definitely looking bearish for Bitcoin. And that tells me that Bitcoin is going to see lower levels. And the CME futures gap is visible on the 4-hour time frame, and most of the time we are looking at the CME futures gap on the daily time frame, and that might be the most significant chart to see the gaps. However, if we are looking in the 4-hour time frame, then we can see that every gap on the 4-hour time frame actually is getting filled as well. And therefore I think that this gap on the 4-hour chart is most likely getting filled as well. And it's important to see what the price of Bitcoin is going to do afterwards. Are we going to see a rejection, or are we going to see a sell-off the moment the gap is filled? That is definitely a bearish sign. And if we have a look at the RSI on the daily time frame, then we can see that Bitcoin might be in for a little breather, a pullback, a small correction. Because right here we had a uptrending support the moment we broke that support, approximately right here. Eventually the RSI went into a downtrend, came to oversold conditions before we could enter this uptrend again. And right now we are seeing actually something similar. However, we are not seeing this huge sell-off as we have seen with the previous time we broke the support of the RSI, but right now we are seeing something similar, right? We broke the support of the RSI, we backtested it as resistance, which tells us the significance of this level, and right now we are continuing in this downtrend, and that tells us that the momentum on the daily time frame definitely is shifted towards the downside. And guys, I want to have a look at Ethereum because the Ethereum network usage is at a all-time high. So I think it's definitely bullish to see an increase in network usage of Ethereum, because it tells us that the adoption of Ethereum definitely is growing and that more developers and more people are making use of the Ethereum network. And I want to have a look at this chart as well, and this chart is showing the price of Ethereum compared to the fees. And what is remarkable right here is that we are seeing that the total amount of fees is surpassing the price of Ethereum, and that we are not seeing that often actually. We have seen it right here, and afterwards we saw a huge increase in the price of Ethereum, and we have seen it here as well, a quick spike, fees above the price of Ethereum, and eventually we did saw a slight increase in the price as well, but this one wasn't that remarkable as this one. But right now we are seeing a steady uptrend in the total amount of fees, and the price is moving sideways. So could this chart tell us that Ethereum might be in for some bullish price action? Well, we of course cannot use this chart solely like the network usage and that the fees are surpassing the price. We can interpret it as a bullish sign, but it isn't enough evidence that we are really going to see a bull run in Ethereum, right? But I want to have a look at the Ethereum chart in the Bitcoin comparative. And I have been speaking about it as well before. The moment we were seeing this bullish divergence, which is indicating a trend reversal, which actually happened as well. We did saw a trend reversal from this downtrend into this uptrend. That is a good moment to prepare for the Ethereum 2.0. Because Ethereum 2.0 is coming soon, and that is definitely going to be a narrative which could be a price driver as well. And if we have a look at the Ethereum chart in the Bitcoin comparative, then it is not looking that bearish. We had a very long downtrend in Ethereum in the Bitcoin comparative, but right here recently we have made a low, and afterwards we have made a higher low, and that is the first sign which is telling us that Ethereum might have bottomed right here and that the trend is shifting from this longer term time downtrend into a long-term uptrend. And the nice thing right here is the moment we are seeing Ethereum making a higher low and the price is increasing, we are seeing an increase in the volume as well. And if we have a look at the RSI right here, then the RSI is not showing any divergence, but it is showing some bullish strength, because right here we have a support at approximately the level 30 in the RSI. You can see that the RSI is bouncing off of this level, but in the price we did made a higher low. So that is not looking that bad, because if Ethereum in the Bitcoin comparative would have a horizontal support right here, that would mean that pattern wise we would be in a descending triangle, right? We have a declining resistance, but we have a horizontal support. That is a descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern. But right now it is showing us something differently. Right now it is showing us that we are forming this triangle pattern. We entered this triangle pattern from a uptrend, which is bullish as well, and the RSI is showing some strength as well. And the volume is confirming that idea as well. So right here I definitely think that we could have some opportunities, some nice possibilities to trade Ethereum in the Bitcoin comparative in this pattern. And there are multiple strategies you could apply in this pattern, right? And that could be that you would accumulate at these support zones, that you are a position trader, right? So you adding onto your long-term position. You could as well swing trade the moment Ethereum is having a breakout and you want to catch a long position the moment we are retesting former resistance into the new support. But I definitely do think that Ethereum in the Bitcoin comparative is going to give us some nice opportunities in the coming weeks. And if I'm looking at this chart, then it is not looking that bad. And if I'm looking at some fundamentals, right, the network usage is at an all-time high. The fees are surpassing the price, which historically was not a bad sign either, combined with a bullish chart which is making higher lows and shows us that there is some momentum in Ethereum. And it is as well easy to determine whether this becomes invalid, and that is the moment we decisively break the support right here at the level of the 0.02. But okay guys, that was it for today's video. Let me know what you think about Ethereum in the Bitcoin comparative. Do you think that I could be right and that Ethereum is actually looking quite bullish and that we are right now in a good period and on time to start adjusting our strategy towards Ethereum, start accumulating Ethereum at support levels? Or do you think that Ethereum is not looking that bullish in the Bitcoin comparative? Guys, I'm very curious what you think, so let me know down below in the comment section. And for the ones that haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I'm uploading every single day a crypto video. And guys, I will see you all tomorrow and don't forget to HODL.